There is a force pulsing through you right now. A silent current, older than time, deeper than thought. It is the source behind every breath, every impulse, every creative spark that has ever moved across the mind of humanity. But most people never touch it. They spend their lives leaking this power, chasing highs, feeding distractions, chasing validation. All while the source within quietly burns out. What if I told you that what we call energy is not just a metaphor, but a substance of creation ancient mystics spent lifetimes learning to master? What if the very fuel that built pyramids, painted divine masterpieces, and forged unshakable empires is the same energy you are losing every day without knowing it? This is not a story of superstition. This is a return to forgotten knowledge. And once you hear what comes next, you'll never look at your body, your mind, or your desires the same way again. In every ancient civilization, from the Vedic seers to the desert prophets, there existed a common truth. Energy is not just physical, it is sacred. In Sanskrit, this force was called prana. The Egyptians referred to it as ka. The Chinese named it qi. And among the Tibetan lamas, it was known as lung, a breath that carried consciousness itself. Modern science touches the edge of this truth with ideas like bioelectricity, dopaminergic charge, and neurological potential. But the ancients knew something deeper, that this energy could be stored, focused, and transmuted. In secret chambers beneath monasteries, on windswept mountain ledges, through fasting, breathwork, stillness, and celibate mastery. These initiates didn't seek escape, they sought ignition. They knew energy is destiny. The one who controls his inner flame controls the form of his life. So why does the modern world feel so drained? The answer is subtle and intentional. Your environment trains you to disperse, not concentrate, to consume endlessly rather than build inner force. Every scroll, every short-form burst of dopamine, every artificial desire fed to you before you even knew what you truly wanted. It fragments your field. And when your field is fragmented, your will becomes foggy. Your focus becomes fragile. Your energy no longer serves your evolution. It feeds systems that do not benefit your becoming. Now ask yourself, who benefits when the majority live without inner power? This is not a conspiracy. It is a pattern. And the only way out is to remember the ancient ways. The sages of the mystery schools taught that the human vessel contains 3 energy centers. The root, the seat of raw life force, primal and untamed. It is not evil. It is not shameful. But when uncontrolled, it rules over you with chaotic emotion and hunger. The heart, the crucible of emotion and connection. When the energy of the root rises into the heart, it refines itself. Passion becomes purpose. Lust becomes love. Desperation becomes devotion. The crown, the throne of insight, vision, and divine will. When the lower forces rise through self-mastery, they fuel genius, a state where you no longer react to the world, but begin to shape it. This is why the sages fasted. This is why martial monks trained in silence for decades. This is why prophets and poets withdrew into solitude. They were not running from the world. They were gathering energy to re-enter it with divine force. Now listen closely. The path forward is not repression. It is transmutation, a sacred art that turns fire into light. Instead of wasting life force in unconscious habits, you begin to redirect it upward into strength, vision, and spiritual power. Leonardo da Vinci abstained from indulgence for weeks before painting his greatest works. Nikola Tesla once said, "Retention of energy gives one great control and clarity. I do not waste mine." From the Shaolin monks of China to the Magi of Persia, masters across history practiced energy discipline, not because they were afraid of life, but because they understood the cost of waste. They knew every drop of this matters. When conserved and elevated, it builds charisma, presence, and inner magnetism that no outer technique can fake. You don't need a temple in the mountains. You don't need to escape the world to awaken your power. You need a sacred daily practice, simple, consistent, precise. Something that shields your energy, sharpens your focus, and rekindles your connection to the source. Here is the foundation. Morning silence, before the world fills your head with noise. Let your first moments be untouched by screens, demands, or distractions. Let silence become your sanctuary. Conscious breathwork. Not rushed, not shallow, intentional. Techniques like box breathing or alternate nostril breathing aren't just for calm. They regulate your nervous system. They return you to yourself. Cold exposure or deliberate stillness. To teach your body, comfort is not your master. You are. Energy locking practices. Ancient techniques like root bandha from yogic tradition. These locks don't just conserve your energy. They redirect it upward, where it can transform into clarity, vision, and will. Intentional journaling. Not just emotional release, energy tracking. Note your vitality, your inner state, your triggers. Mastery begins with observation. Nighttime practices. Through gratitude, stillness, and digital disconnection. How you end the day matters just as much as how you begin it. Close your energy like a sacred book. These are not hacks. They are disciplines refined over centuries. Practices carried by mystics, warriors, monks. Mostly forgotten, but remembered now by you. What you've just heard is only the beginning. You've crossed the first threshold of energy mastery. You've remembered that your body is not machinery, it is a temple of intelligence. That your desires are not enemies, They are signals begging to be elevated. And that your energy is not random, it is your life's currency. You can now choose to let it scatter into cravings, distractions, reactions, or to forge it into something undeniable, a crown of awareness. This path will not flatter you. It will demand your presence, your patience, your power. But in return, it will give you what no app, pill, or shortcut ever can: inner control, unshakable vitality, and the quiet fire of direction. You were never missing the source, only the practice to unlock it. Now you hold the key. The only question that remains is, will you rise and use it? Let me leave you with this. Inside you is the source, the current, the charge. You don't need to search for more. You only need to return to what is already yours. You are not here to be depleted. You are here to be divine. So the next time you feel the impulse to give your power away, pause and remember, greatness is not in doing what others do. It is in reclaiming what others forget. This is the beginning of energy mastery, of total clarity, of untouchable presence. If something stirred in you today, write in the comments, I choose my power. Protect your energy, not to escape life, but to command it.